of helping students and, you know, with just helping them with homework,
Yeah.
you know.
Kim Adams, Lockheed, we heard from you earlier today on workforce, and I didn't know you guys hire a lot of engineers.
We hire a lot of engineers.
Yeah.
And you know what, we're actually fortunate because candidly, there is some cachet with being the largest aerospace and defense company in the world. And so we're not really right now having an issue with getting a lot of applicants. But that doesn't mean we don't realize the train wreck that we see looming.
You think it's a train wreck?
I think we've got a real challenge. I really do. And when I say a train wreck, a lot of it really has to do with the gap that we have in terms of supply and demand. You know, so we really have to encourage every single kid that we can to be interested and to study science, technology, engineering, and math. And we're going to probably at some point in time have to think a little bit differently too. Our model tends to be hiring directly off of campus with people with 4-year degrees. I think we're going to have to open the aperture at some point and say, you know what, we're going to have to look at 2-year degrees more aggressively and high schoolers.
Yeah, we can't afford really losing any child, right?
I think that's
Eric?
true.
Yeah. In the mid-70s, when the IT, the information technology businesses really started to take off, you know, a lot of the companies were looking at colleges and trying to say, well, who's going to work for us? You know, and they were trying to figure out, what do we do? And so a lot of companies, IBM, I think, EDS, it's not even EDS anymore, it's now Hewlett-Packard.
We change names every other year, just so you know.
Just to keep everybody sharp, I think.
Yeah.
But they were taking students off of campus and educating them themselves. They had in-house training, substantial in-house training. Is that something that you all see, or you know, how are you going to handle this delta that you see coming?
I'd love to tell you about one of the things that we started a couple of years ago, actually. And that was, we partnered initially in Philadelphia in the inner city schools with a really kind of a disadvantaged high school. And we identified kids who were in their junior year that we partnered with, and we gave them an educational program while they were in high school. We also brought them on a Lockheed Martin facility and taught them IT. We got a certified IT apprenticeship program with the state of Pennsylvania, actually, partnered with a local community college, because we also found that a huge gap that we had with the kids was the interpersonal and social skills. So they could learn the IT real quickly, but the communication skills and some of that basic work kind of capability was lacking. And so we started an IT apprenticeship program. It's been very successful. We've then done the same thing in Arizona with the Native American population. And again, that's a population that has a very large dropout rate from a high school perspective. And we established an IT apprenticeship program in Arizona. So again, I think there's some real creative things like organizations like Lockheed Martin need to really focus on that kind of open up the aperture, changes us from just being an employer to an educator and an employer.
How about you guys at Genzyme?
We've kind of had to do the same thing. We started with, we have a certain position called a genetic technologist that we have about 400 or 500 of employed across the country at our different locations. And it requires at least a life science, a 4-year degree to get in, and then we can do a 1-year training on top of that to get them to where we need them at an entry level. But we have found there's only about, you know, there's a tremendous gap just in even biology students or chemistry students graduating from college that don't know what's out there for the science degree. So the engineering is a little more obvious, I think, but the life sciences, people end up thinking they're going to go into either research or marine biology or teaching. And so we've sort of partnered with different universities to get those kids out of the life science programs and into our program. We've then had to go another level to where we've started some scholarships at the few schools. There's about 6 or 8 colleges across the country that have programs that teach exactly what we need beyond the 4-year degree, that have a program for that. And we've partnered in scholarship programs for those schools to get kids out of the high schools into those colleges. And then working with Sue, I think it's the next level down. It's citizen schools of really, we've found in working with these children, the 12 kids we've worked with this semester, that the technology is great and all the tools that we're giving them are great, but they don't have a great perception of what that means in the workforce. Like, what kind of job does this mean I can get if I go to school? I mean, I got asked questions point blank of, so how many years of school do I have to go to have that job? Or how many more years do I have to get that job? And they're starting to sort of, they're getting it, they're putting sort of a value now associated with the tools we're giving them. And I think that's what's been real interesting about the hands-on or the apprenticeship programs.
Yeah, go ahead, Sue.
And can I just add to that? I think it's really critical that we start very early to inspire these kids and keep them engaged. I heard the term this morning, you know, keep that curiosity for learning really, really at its forefront or its strength, its most strong point. And if we, sometimes it's too late in high school, frankly. I think we need to be really picking up in that middle area. And I think the work we've been doing with Genzyme and others is really demonstrating the value of really engaging kids in why school is relevant. And you heard in the video, young people are saying, well, what does algebra have to do with anything? When they learn about the physics of roller coaster design, they suddenly see a connection and a relevance. When they learn about, you know, DNA strands and look at DNA from strawberries, I watch students who are 11 and 12 extracting DNA from strawberries and looking at it, they're getting excited again, they're getting engaged, and that's what we need to consider at that grassroots level.
Yeah, you just mentioned roller coaster design. I'm glad they're getting good skills because I love roller coasters. I don't just want to fly off the track, right?
So we're safe for a few more years.
Yeah. Hey, Trish, can we queue up the 5 questions or 4 questions about did you know? I think that's, if we can do that, and then we'll take a kind of a short section. There will be 4 or 5 questions that I want you to answer. And there's how many of you have seen the Did You Know video on YouTube? It's one of the most popular ones, right? And so we're going to ask a few questions. So for those of us who have seen it, don't cheat. Just guess. Here's the first one. On average, how many jobs will today's learners have by age 38, etc.? Let's play a little bit of music and give ourselves maybe a minute or so to answer all 5 questions. So Trish, you're welcome to kind of clip through. And if you're too slow clicking, then I'm sorry, you just missed the boat. So let's go ahead and do that. Take a break.
I think I've already had my 15
9?
jobs.
I think
How many?
14.
I said you do know that the
Tendency is more rather than,
and I probably myself
get bored too early.
by the time I was 38.
Too
A lot of
often.
jobs too, mother, and I think I've done 15 jobs.
You want to click? You want to click? Everybody wants to click? Yeah.